How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys Fan. Born to battle. Some just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the sun shines bright, that's where we win. Angry Cowboys Fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And the guys over on Good Morning Football feels the same way when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys this year. Something feels a little bit different than years prior. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to the guys over on NFL Network's Good Morning Football as they discuss the 2026 Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, it just kind of goes back to, this seems a little bit different in regards to you entering training camp, right? Yes, they're held to a higher standard, the Dallas Cowboys, and we're also used to a little bit of the chatter, a little bit of distraction. Let's just make training camp about training camp and stack these things one after another. And then when we get to this season, yes, there's going to be these ebbs and flows. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But when you build, so I went away for every training camp, right? And it stunk because you weren't in your home and you didn't get to see your family, but it was so conducive for building those relationships, that rapport, that subconscious feeling about when you walk on the field with your brothers. I mean, that's what you make it to, right? Like, those moments you cannot take away, you cannot refute how important those are. And with limiting these distractions, Jaleel and or Lawrence, whoever wants to speak up on this, it's going to be an impressive thing to see. I'm hoping, I'm praying that this is a different chapter for the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, I'm hoping and praying that this is a different chapter for the Cowboys as well. But as we went into the 2026 offseason, hiring Christian Parker and his staff, the 2026 NFL Draft, as well as free agency, the Dallas Cowboys have been moving differently this season. I mean, I know this is something that a number of us say each offseason, but there's something about this offseason where it rings true. You know you're going to have a number of haters talking about how we say this every single season, but if you can't see the steps that this organization has taken in the right direction, then I don't know what to tell you, Cowboys Nation. I guess the actions will have to speak a hell of a lot louder than the words this upcoming season. Now let's go ahead and get into the second clip so we can come back and talk about it. Roll the clip.
Yeah, it's definitely different, right? I just mentioned it's usually bells and whistles around the facility. Yeah. It's a show, it's a circus, right? There's
documentaries.
You can documentaries. Come into the facility, you can tour the facility while the guys are training. It's a lot going on. I've heard from former players who played for the Dallas Cowboys. But what I'm intrigued the most about, we know what their offense is going to look like. They brought in Christian Parker, the young DC, to reinvent that defense and make sure that this is a defense that's going to have an identity. When you look at this conference, right, you have John Harbaugh at the New York Giants. He's going to bring a tenacity to that team, and they're going to be a pound and ground team. You know the physicality is going to be there. Yep. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, tush push, run game, play action, deep ball shot. They have a physical demeanor about them as well. Washington's still trying to kind of figure out what that's going to look like, but I like how the Cowboys specifically went Caleb Downs in the first round. I like this kid out of Ohio State. I think they're going to be able to use him in the big nickel, the dime, close to the line of scrimmage, and get really creative with him. And I think that'll bring the tenacity that they're looking for in this defense in Dallas.
The bells and whistles, for real. Since when has a documentary been a bad thing surrounding your organization? Plus, people act as if the Dallas Cowboys are the only organization that has stadium tours during the season. There's a number of NFL teams who do the exact same thing, but let me guess. Because it's the Dallas Cowboys, it's a problem. I'll tell you what, Cowboys Nation, we can't catch a break, can we? Now let's go ahead and get into the third clip so we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut.
Of course, interior defensive pressure is at a premium in the past decade in the NFL. We see it. I've talked about it before ad nauseum with the Super Bowl contenders last year. But another thing that kind of came to my mind is all these guys, they're not in the twilight of their career. You bring in these two dudes, but they're the perspective that they've gained, that they've earned, that they yearn for winning. And I feel like that's what the Dallas Cowboys have right now is it's all quiet in the Western Front, fellas.
Yeah.
All quiet in the Southern Front. These guys seem like they just want to handle their business and get to the promised land, man. At least sniff the playoffs, and then you get dudes like that, they're itching for it.
We itching for it, Cowboys Nation. We are itching for it. It's been way too long. But ever since Chris Jones wrecked shop in the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowls, we've come to the realization that it's important for the defensive tackles to be dogs at their position. The interior of the defensive line being that determining factor in pressuring the quarterback. Thank goodness we were able to acquire 2 studs at the defensive tackle position. So, y'all ready for this Raw and Uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
Keeping it real, man. Keep it real. That's real.
You know, Cowboys Nation, I don't care what anybody says. The Dallas Cowboys 2026 offseason has been something that Cowboys Nation hasn't had for a long time. We haven't been used to this for a long time. For those who've been a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, y'all know how draining the offseason can be, especially when the Cowboys have a number of major contracts to deal with. This offseason, we've only had one major contract situation to deal with, and we all know who that is. George Pickens. But ever since the hiring of Christian Parker, the Dallas Cowboys have been moving extremely different this season. Cowboys fans have barely seen Jerry Jones in front of the cameras. We haven't heard too many stupid quotes from Jerry or Stephen Jones. I mean, sure, Stephen did say that they weren't going to negotiate with George Pickens, but other than that, the Dallas Cowboys organization has been moving in ways that we haven't seen in a long time. They have put football operations in front of promotions, and this is something that I really, really like. But the overall morale of the team seems to be great as well, Cowboys Nation. Everyone's focused on the task at hand, and that seems to be getting better. The defensive coaching staff was put together by the person that it should have been put together by. They all seem to have that mindset that's predicated on teaching, and that's something that we haven't seen since Jimmy Johnson. Not only that, but the positions that Jerry and Stephen Jones usually ignore was pushed to the forefront of importance. That's the defensive tackle as well as the safety positions. We were able to acquire players that pushed the envelope in those positions. Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark being the anchor of the defensive front, while Jalen Thompson and Caleb Downs holding the back end down at the safety position. Also, the addition at cornerback, linebacker, as well as edge rusher looks to make this defense 10 times better than what it was last year. The focus on the fundamentals from Christian Parker as well as Brian Schottenheimer is going to pay huge dividends for this team this year. I'm a fond believer that this is where the Dallas Cowboys have gone wrong in the past. I feel that fundamentals were not as important because you would think that fundamentals would be a part of your game, seeing that you're coming out of college. But the brotherhood in the locker room seems to be cohesive this year. There's no division. There's no players in the locker room thinking that they're bigger than the star. There's no players that have podcasts that's going to get in the way. I mean, Caleb Downs has a podcast, but I don't foresee that being an issue. Each player that's on this team wants to contribute to the overall success of the team, and they're willing to sacrifice in order for that to happen. Veterans are working with the rookies, and people are fighting to be the first ones in and the last ones to leave the facility after practice. Even the player that we thought was going to hold out is present with the team, wanting to make a championship happen, because we all know a championship run starts in the offseason. When was the last time that we saw this, Cowboys Nation? Go ahead and ask yourself, when was the last time that we saw this level of change? When was the last time that Jerry and Stephen Jones took a back seat to the coaching staff and allowed them to do their job without any interference? It's been a while, hasn't it, Cowboys Nation? The organization is doing what it has to do in order to take advantage of the opportunities that are right here in front of our faces, and I love every single minute of it. I just feel that things have begun to change for a number of reasons. Jerry Jones knows that the end is near when it comes to his mortality being on this earth. So, you know he's going to want to win a Super Bowl before he's called back to the Lord. It's been 31 years of doing it his way without zero success. The only time he was able to actually facilitate a championship was when he surrendered his power to Jimmy Johnson. I see him surrendering power to Brian Schottenheimer as we speak. But the Dallas Cowboys are held to a higher standard throughout the NFL. Being America's team, the Dallas Cowboys are expected to, at bare minimum, be in the playoffs each year. They're expected to be in the thick of things each year. They're expected to be contenders each year. For the Dallas Cowboys to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row, something's got to change, Cowboys Nation, and it's better late than never for that change to come. So I'm excited to see what things are going to happen for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm excited to see what we have in store for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the roster itself, it looks pretty damn impressive on paper. Now let's translate that from paper to on the field. It's not going to be an easy road ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, but I believe that they have the tools as well as the talent to make it to wherever we want to be, and I know where we want to be. That's a Super Bowl championship. But they showed last year that they have the offensive weaponry to actually contend for a championship. All the team needs is for the defense to match that intensity and that energy, and I believe that they have it this year. We may not have a team filled with all pros on the roster, but each one of these players have the ability to change that and become all pros this year. But with everything coming together like Voltron, this team can be successful during the 2026 season, and I see success knocking at the front door. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you think about the change within the Dallas Cowboys organization? Do you honestly see a change, or is it just another cycle for Cowboys Nation? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help get the word out to even more Dallas Cowboys fans, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device and you haven't used them up yet, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will help get the word out to Cowboys Nation. They'll come over to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel and want to become Angry Cowboys fans themselves. And if you are DC for life and you can't wait for training camp to start so we can see what we actually have schematically, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I drop even more content from the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel. Plus, if you're into Madden 26, College Football 26, or Mortal Kombat Talk, check out my other YouTube channel, the Angry Gaming Fan YouTube channel. I'll make sure I put the link to that as well as the gamer tag in the description. But it's super important for change to happen if you want to achieve the goals that you set out to achieve, Cowboys Nation. This is in football as well as life. You got to be ahead of the curve when it comes to the NFL, Cowboys Nation. For years, the Dallas Cowboys have been 2 steps behind. This year seems to be like we're catching up and are going to give a team a run for their money as we get ahead of the curve. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys Fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.